Hey everybody! Normally, at the beginning of these things, I say Happy Monday, but it's Tuesday because of Memorial Day in the US. So, Happy Tuesday! Hope you're having a good day. Normally start earlier in the day, it's 4 in the afternoon, and we're going on into the evening here. I want to say hey to James, and I don't know if you're still around, man, but thanks for dropping in and saying hi. Hopefully you get a chance to get some rest. Sleep up, sleep well, and we'll catch you again on the next one. And hey, Babbitt, thanks for dropping in saying hi. I saw that you were at Layer 1 this weekend. I want to hear all about it. Sounds like that was an awesome conference. And the Badge Life game was strong at Layer 1 this weekend, it looked like. So speaking of tangentially badges, soldering, and such things, we are going to be doing some hardware work today. Oh, did you really? Who did you, hey, and 17 Raiders from the Michael Jolly stream. Hey, everybody. I was just on your stream. No. You're right on time, Michael Jolly. We're just getting started. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming in and saying hey. I hope that, Michael Jolly, I hope you were able to get a few more things figured out on the hardware side before y'all wrapped up. I am really excited to see the way that your project is coming together. And for those of you that are here that have not yet had a chance to check out the Michael Jolly stream, please do so. He does good stuff, especially when he talks about Particle. I mean, I'm biased, but you know. Oh, you didn't get a chance to ask his name? It was at the after part on Sunday. I'll ask around internally on Slack, Babbitt. I'm curious to know, because where is Layer 1? Remind me what city it's in and I might be able to tell you, or at least make an educated guess. But hello again, everybody that's in from the Michael Jolly stream. Hey, Michael Jolly, thanks so much for the resub for 3 months. 3 months, man. Time flies. Time flies. Pasadena, California. Oh no. All right. I'll figure this out, Babbitt. I'm not sure who that would have been. One of our former product managers used to live kind of in the area, but I don't know if he's around anymore. But that's very cool of y'all that's cool that y'all talked about the stream. You're too kind. And once again, Michael Jolly, thank you so much. I gotta make sure I capture that because we gotta do the thanks. We gotta do these. Jolly for the 3-month resub. And I saw that Clarkio actually added some VS Code snippets for these kinds of things. I need to install that extension or install those snippets and mess around with that. But yeah, thanks again for the raid. We are going to do some hardware today. So we're actually going to do some soldering. We're going to have some, I am not singing. No. You don't want me to sing to you, Michael Jolly. It's, I mean, everyone would leave. And I would prefer the dance fit. All right. I'll do a little bit. I'll do sort of like a small box dance here for you. How about this? How about that? Not even to the beat of the soundtrack. There, that's all you get. Show and tell. Very, very quickly, show and tell. I have a couple of things I want to show off today before we get into the fun stuff. We're actually going to solder up some boards today. So this is going to be mostly a large screen, a lot of this and not a lot of my face, which should make this a more exciting stream than usual. First thing I want to show off is this little dude right here. I don't know if I have showed this before on the stream. If I have, maybe it'll be new to some of y'all. Oh, Surly Dev, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. High five to you. Thanks for coming in and for hanging out. Feel free to say hi in chat, to lurk, to ask any questions, throw some snide remarks my way. I love all of those things. But this little board here is the SparkFun Edge Apollo board that actually, oh my gosh, focus. Focus. Come on. There we go. It actually runs TensorFlow Lite Micro. Surly Dev, I'll visit a few times before getting surly with you. Okay, I appreciate that. We should get to know each other a little bit. I respect that. That's fair. That's okay. So that little board right there is a cool little board. So this actually runs, it runs TensorFlow Lite Micro. It actually comes preloaded with a sample. It's powered by a coin cell battery, which is pretty cool. Oh, yeah, you can see it's powered by a coin cell battery, which is pretty cool. And it comes preloaded with a voice recognition demo that will recognize the word yes. That's it. But considering how small this thing is and how low power it is, it's actually pretty neat to show what's possible with machine learning on some of these small edge devices. So of course, if you've been on this stream at all in the last couple of months, you know that machine learning has sort of become my recent obsession, especially machine learning on single board computers and microcontrollers. It's driving my wife crazy because it's literally all I talk about. It's all I'm reading about. I've started having dreams about it. Maybe they're nightmares. It's a little bit crazy, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So this board will be a fun one to mess around with. The other piece of show and tell. All right, let me go. Hold on. Back to chat. Snide remarks. He knows you so well, certainly. That's pretty funny. Can't imagine that Michael Jolly's thinking he doesn't know what's coming. Surly Dev, what am I building? Oh, that is a great question. So I will throw up the project. Oh no, not that. Throw up the project hashbang, excuse me, whatever. .commie, I knew you would. Oh yeah, I get a lot of like nods and smiles, and then after a little while it's like rolled eyes and like, please stop talking about that. Just take your obsession somewhere else. So Surly Dev, this project is called Emotion Mesh. This is a project that I've been working on stream for the last couple of weeks, off stream as well. And it is a edge machine learning and IoT project that actually uses particle third generation devices, so the Argon, Xenon, and it uses a Google Coral dev board, and we're going to dive into that in just a moment. There's a few pieces to it, and then there is where'd my image go? Did it go? Did my asset? Oh, there it is. Oh, the image took a while to download. There's a unfortunate sketch in there that is meant to sort of show a little bit of what actually happens. But I'll show off some of these pieces today because we're actually going to do some soldering together of the boards. The main piece of this is, let me pull this away because I'll pull this on here real quick, see if I can not ruin everything. This tangle of wires and everything right here. Let's go big screen. Big screen. This tangle of wires is a couple of different things. This is a Google Coral board, which is a Raspberry Pi-esque single board computer that actually has a Google TensorFlow processing unit on top of it so that it can do machine learning inference actually on the device. That's why it has this giant heat sink and a fan built in top of it. And then there's also a particle Argon that is here that is functioning as a gateway for a network of devices. And then these, wire that came out. That's all right, we can figure that piece out. These little dudes right here are actually LEDs that that will power these arcade buttons in the top of this box here. It's sort of a close-up view of the box, but this box will have a couple of arcade buttons on top of it, and it will be used to trigger a webcam capture. There's a webcam that's actually connected to this device, connected to the Google Coral, and it's gonna, as you can see here in the hand-drawn photo, it will actually take a photo of your face and run a emotion detection model that I've built locally on the board. It'll run that emotion model and tell you sort of what emotion you're conveying: happiness, anger, sadness, malaise, general disbelief. Maybe not that many different options, but and it'll actually show that on the board, and then you'll say whether, or show that on the monitor that'll be connected, and you'll decide whether or not it's right or wrong. So one of the things we're going to do today, in fact, most of what we're going to do on this, surliness would be a good one to add. Surly Dev, I like that. That's a good one. We're going to turn this tangled mess of wires actually into a PCB, into actual soldered printed circuit board, or perma proto board, excuse me. We're basically going to mount this on this Adafruit perma proto board so that I don't have to spin a custom PCB for this. and then mount these in this box. So let me go back into big screen mode very briefly. And no, there we go. So I'm gonna move these fellows off to the side. And where did that go? It's supposed to be. Pardon me, just a moment. Make sure my grounds are connected properly. So this is actually the box. It's open on the front, and so we're gonna load up. We're basically gonna mount these devices in here. Thank you for saying Adafruit. You're welcome, Surly Dev. Don't listen to Michael Jolly when he, well, you know, Michael Jolly with their disagreements. I mean, there's a right way and a wrong way. Just put it that way. I kid. Another piece of the demo that's on here is there's going to be a bunch of Adafruit. Yeah, I try not to listen to him either, Surly Dev. But it's hard because he's got such an infectious personality. So, you know. Tomato. You're right, Michael Jolly. Tomato. I have like 5 of these as well that I wanted to share for show and tell. These are Adafruit Neopixel strips. These are the 30 pixel strips. These are going to factor into the demo as well. As you'll notice down here on the lower part of the screen, something if I can like amp this up a little bit. Each of these Neopixel strips is that's funny. Michael Jolly, you're not kidding. Each of these Neopixel strips is going to be wired up to a Xenon, and this is actually going to do some things during the demo as well, right? So it'll play in a track mode demo between runs. When it shows you the emotion it guessed, it'll show like a processing pending kind of thing, and if it guessed correctly, it'll be green. If it guessed wrong, it'll be red. Typical kind of stuff that you would expect. So that's what we're going to do with that. That's my show and tell for today. Very briefly. So last time, what we did last Monday on the stream, we actually configured serial between the Coral, between the Google Coral and the Argon. So when I pulled these out just a minute ago, those actually are UART connected between the Argon and the Coral so that I can trigger... Ancient Coder, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Hey there, how are you? Are you having a good Tuesday? We're just a few minutes into getting started, so you were right on time. Thanks for joining. So establishing a UART connection between these devices will actually allow us to be able to make the Coral effectively part of the mesh network. So you can use it to trigger emotion capture on the screen. You can use it to communicate with the Coral back with the device. So that's actually one of the things that we worked on primarily last time, was the serial communication piece between those. And so I'll show that off very briefly, but the basic idea is, and this is on the Coral side, so there's a Python script. Oh, awesome. Hope you're having a good vacation. Are you, is it just a stay-at-home kind of vacation? Staycation, as they say? He cringes. Or is it, are you somewhere? Are you out exploring the world? So basically, this Python script here is actually running on the Google Coral. Let me turn off the webcam. This Python script is running on the Coral, and it's basically just reading for serial messages that come in. And there are 4 different messages that can come in from the Argon. It can either be in the Netherlands, exploring and visiting family. That's awesome, Ancient Coder. That's very cool. I'm excited. I'm going to Europe in 3 weeks. I'm going to Oslo, Norway, and I'm pumped. I went last year in June, and I'm really excited to go back. It's a really cool city. It's not a vacation. It's a conference work trip, but I do have a couple extra days to explore, so that should be pretty awesome. So this is what's happening actually on the Coral side. It's waiting for these messages. And the only thing that's really implemented right now is this capture image command. But if you fire a capture image command from the Argon, right, tap one of these buttons, and I'll show off this in a little bit. It basically just fires a WebSocket message to the streaming server to capture a message, and then sends a response back to the device. So that was the... Thanks, Angecoder, I appreciate that. Yeah, it should be fun. That was a lot of what we did last Monday on the stream, was actually getting the UART connection working. It turns out that there was a bit of a... there's a wiring issue that we had to... yeah, hey, Grogard, how's it going? Yes, Grogard. So you came right in time, because that was actually something that I was going to mention to you in particular. As Grogard referenced, we actually did have some weird stuff going on with the Coral dev board. And this is another one of those cases where if Brandon actually read the docs, life would be a lot less stressful for me. It really would be. If I slowed down, took the time to read like Mama always said, well, life would be better. But Grogard, so effectively what happened, and we were on this page last week, and what we did basically was we wired the Argon up to these UART TXRX connections. That's all working, the connection was made, but we were getting some weird stuff happening where sometimes the serial messages were coming across. Yeah, Babbitt, you're right. RTFM? No. You do the thing. Do it live, as C# Fritz likes to say. That's how you know. That's how you learn. So we were getting some weird gobbledygook and odd characters, things like that. Well, Grogard, I figured out exactly what the issue was. If you scroll down in the docs, actually to the serial section, you'll see this little command right here. UART1 is shared with a Linux serial console. To use the port, you must disable the serial console with the systemctl command. So basically, we need to stop the Linux serial console from also watching that UART port. And that was it. Once I ran that, I was golden. Everything works great. So we got that. We're in good shape with that. That was a big part of last time. Yeah, Grogard, I'm glad it's in the docs. I was happy that I found that. And you guys were super helpful last time, helping me get even to the point that I got. So I'm happy to have that communication done. That's really good. The other thing that I did, Surly Dev, it wasn't ZZUY, was it? I don't follow. That is a string of characters that I'm not familiar with. And I'm not like a super Linux person. Oh, at the end of the messages? No, Surly Dev, a lot of times it was just nothing. We were getting a lot of messages that were just empty. It wasn't weird characters because I think that would have indicated more of a baud rate mismatch. And we were doing fine. Like we were running on 9600 between the two. We were running 11.5/200. There wasn't a baud rate mismatch or trying to push too much through a low baud rate or any of that kind of stuff. It was literally just that the Linux distro was also monitoring that port and inserting its own fun into it. That's cool. We got it working, so I'm happy about that. The other thing that I did, you saw this a little while ago when I pulled these over. I'll do it again, and I'll go to big screen, because this was kind of important. The other things that we did last time, let me turn my camera back on, was I wired up the arcade buttons. So these are the actual LED, the internals of these giant arcade buttons that are in the box. They're alternating. They're in idle mode right now. Sort of they're alternating turning off and on. And they're being powered by Michael Jolly. Michael Jolly, this is for you. They're being powered by this 3 volt to 12 volt boost converter from Polalo. This is the one that I was mentioning on your stream a little while ago. Highly recommended. If you get them, when it comes time to use them, let's talk, because there's one application note I need to give you on how to actually wire it up correctly that I fought last week. Grogard, oh yeah, definitely good notes for the giant board docs. Like those little implicit things that you may have internalized that are going to be people will run into. No docs are too many, right? And Grogard again, I am happy to be your guinea pig. I will guinea pig your docs for the giant board. Just this is, we'll do this as like Dave Chappelle as Rick James. Pretend this is the Dave Chappelle as Rick James gift. Just I want to help. Whatever you got. Michael Jolly, I'm actually in the process of purchasing everything we discussed. I feel sorry for your credit card or debit card. Actually, I don't. I'm kidding. It's fun to buy that kind of stuff. Hardware purchases are an absolute blast. So we got the buttons working with the 12 volt step up converters. And then most of what I spent the rest of the time on was actually working on a state machine in the actual controller firmware. So let me, and I actually did not open that piece up. So let me open up the firmware real quick so I can show that off. Particle, motion mesh, firmware, right. Right, open up the workspace. So the real like meat of the, come on. Why is it trying to connect there? I want my local file system. Hold on just a second. I know you're working on it, Grogard, I'm sorry. I need to stop harassing you about it. I'm just so excited for you. 60. Okay, what is happening? That should not have opened up. All right, y'all, give me just a second here. I thought it would be simple to just open up the firmware project and show it off, but apparently not so. All right, I'll just pull it in through here. So the buttons here will do different things depending on what state the application is in. So what I really wanted to do this time around with the project or with the controller here was to be able to properly manage all of the various different button states. And I think I've on stream before have implemented the finite state machine library. That's what I ended up using here. The finite state machine just effectively manages, oh my gosh, so many notifications. There's 4 primary states that are happening on the Argon, on the controller. It's idle, it's capturing a photo, it's waiting for a response from the image processor on the Coral, or it's ready for you to enter a response. And in every single one of those states, the buttons do different things, right? In idle mode, they do what they're doing now, which is that they just sort of slowly blink back and forth. In capture mode, they both the green one turns on and the red one goes off, and it just waits for you to click it to capture a photo. And in waiting mode, they're off, and in response mode, they're both on, and you pick whether the model is, whether the inference was correct, right or wrong, based on your emotion. So that was a lot of what's in here, and this is all in the GitHub repo that I shared earlier. And we'll come back to all that because we're actually going to need to mod it. We're going to need to touch that code. Maybe in this stream, but maybe in the next stream. So I mapped all the button presses. So that was a big piece right here, is actually to do the serial communication between the devices. So that's actually what's happening here. Waiting for a response back from the device, sending a serial message out to the device. All of that stuff is in here as well. And then the last piece, and this was sort of the ML, sort of the most, probably the thing that I had the most fun with last week. Hey, B.S. Clara, how you doing, man? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good week so far. And I added docs on this, but I actually added a folder that has the local model. So this is probably the newest. The area where Brandon has the least experience in this entire project is on the machine learning part of this. So what I've been working on is basically building up a convolutional neural network for detecting emotions from color photos. So I started with a data set from Kaggle, and then found some resources online to help, and then basically created a Python script that uses TensorFlow and Keras to train the model and to test it out. It's actually a pretty stinking complex model, and it takes a long time to run, like hours. It takes hours and hours to run, which is now I understand totally why these kinds of things are done on GPUs in the cloud. And it has about a 66% accuracy. So I did a bunch of tuning on it. It's not bad. So 2/3 of the time it guesses, it detects emotions from color photo correctly. And then there's some docs in here on how to tweak it. The link I just provided is actually to this README here. And there's some stuff on how to build it for the Google Coral, etc. So if you have been on the stream before, you know that we actually spent some time actually calling an emotion detection model on the in Azure. So there's an Azure Face API. So what I'm ultimately doing in this demo is I'm taking a photo using the webcam. We're going to call the Azure API to capture that photo, and then we're going to do the exact same thing on the local model to see if it's faster and to see if it's more or less accurate. So a little bit of a bake-off that'll happen in there as well. PS Caller, having to install TextMate on Mac to modify the command line for Pi because I forgot the password. Oh! That does not sound... I hope you have libations or some other kind of adult beverage on hand in order to tackle that task right there. So basically all of the moving pieces of this project are in place. There's a few things that we need to do to sort of make it work, but the end-to-end piece from the box to the cloud and back is there, and it all works, and the rest of this work is going to be just sort of tying things together. So that takes us to today. I'm actually going to solder and assemble this board, like I mentioned, so we're going to actually have some soldering fun. We're going to mount, and then we're going to mount the board into the box, and then we'll just sort of go from there. So I'm going to switch in over to big camera mode and take my ugly mug off, and let's get to it. So we're actually going to do some straight up soldering. And we'll do my absolute best to keep an eye on chat while we're doing this. All right. So here's our Perma Proto board. If you haven't used one of these before, these things are amazing. If you're in a place where you want to move move a project that's on a breadboard and you're not quite ready to design a custom PCB, or you're lazy like me and you don't feel like doing it, these things basically give you the exact same features of a breadboard, right? Your rows are interconnected in the center, and your columns are interconnected for power rails on the edges. And these are just a couple of bucks on, say it with me, Michael Jolly, Adafruit, Adafruit.com. Another reason I like these things is that they're drill holes for standoffs. So you can solder something together, put it on some standoffs, and then mount it, right? So what we're going to do is just mount it here in the box. So that's the plan. And we're going to start with the feather wing headers, because I'm not soldering one of my precious particle devices directly into the board. We're going to solder in headers so that we can plug it, swap it if we need to. But what I'm doing is I actually put these headers on a particle device so that it holds it well for soldering, and also so that I actually solder it correctly instead of putting them at the wrong width, which I very, very easily can do. So let's have at it, and y'all forgive me if I end up bumping the table a bunch and shake the camera. I'm gonna try not to. It's been a little while since I've soldered on stream, so I'm pretty jazzed to be able to do this. Soldering, still one of my absolute favorite things to do. It's a lot of fun. All right, I'm gonna try also not to knock the camera with my head. How about that? So did anybody do anything fun for Memorial Day weekend? For those in the U.S. that celebrated? Anything interesting? I did yard work. Seems like that's how most of my holidays end up. I end up doing yard work. I don't know how I always get roped into that. I did, however, take the day off on Friday, the Friday before Memorial Day, and I took my 5-year-old to the Children's Museum in Austin, which is called the Thinkery. It's a fun name. It's like one of his favorite things to do, but his older brothers can't stand it. Like they've gotten to that point where they've outgrown it, and so they're total haters. They don't want to do it. So I took the day off of work and I took him. That was a blast. We had fun. Did some stop motion animation stuff, played some things. They have a cool little electronics station. A good time. Surly Dev, are these the boards that you can scratch the tracks and break the circuit along a rail? Yes, Surly Dev, absolutely. Yeah, you can break these connections if you scratch them too hard, either intentionally or unintentionally. They're not super robust. It was also a bank holiday in the UK, but I worked because I could. Hey, I hear you, Surly Dev. That's not bad. Sometimes I like taking holidays. Sometimes during holidays I'll work anyway because no one else is, right? So you can get some, can actually get some stuff done. BS Claro, is that the one off of 183? It is, yeah. It's in the Mueller area. So there's an Alamo Draft House down there now. The area's blown up. There's a Witchcraft, BS Claro. Speaking of adult beverages and libations, there's a Witchcraft craft beer store down there now also. So one of the bonuses that I got from taking the 5-year-old down there was that I was able to stop in and pick up a few supplies. Can't complain about that. Okay, so we got the big boy now. There's a few other things that we're gonna need to do here. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna unplug this for the moment because we're gonna need to reference this, and I might need clean solder. Oh, thanks, Ancient Coder. I try. I'm gonna disconnect this from the coral. Bring this onto the main part of the board. So my little mess of wires here. There's a few things that I want to do here. I try to be clean, Ancient Coder. I don't know if it always works out that way. I did bridge one, but this was to SDA on the Argon, so no big deal. It don't matter. So I am using the ground and power rails here. So that's one of the things that I'm going to do first. Is I'm going to take the ground rail and bring it over here. Make sure I get it on this side. And then I'm going to bring the power rail over to the other side, just to kind of keep things consistent. I'm going to try to do this. Alright, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the fourth pin down. 1, 2, 3. It's the fourth pin down, so that's what I want to go to. So let's start with that, and we will. I'm going to do it underneath, just because I can. What I mean by that is I'm going to run the wire here so that it doesn't mess with anything on the top here that I need to route. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right? What did I say? 1, 2. This is the measure twice, cut once of electronics. 1, 2, 3. Double, triple, quadruple checking your pins. 1, 2, 3. No, it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. And y'all tell me if I keep putting my hands out of the way. Maybe what I'll do is I'll move the camera up. So that I don't, there we go. Get a little bit more of a vista here, so and also I stop bumping the camera in 2 seconds. Snippet. Ah, .commie, I don't know if you're already here, if you had to bail already, but now I have a reason. I actually need to put my protective eyewear on if I'm like snipping wires and whatnot. I actually have no excuse. I have to wear these. Alright. Oh, I hate wearing goggles. Just never feel right. Okay. So I'm going to snip and then strip. Snip and strip. I'm going to find some place to put this. There we go. Alright, so we got one wire done. We have ourselves a ground wire. .commie, you don't need coating glasses for that? You're right, I don't. But look, I put them on. I put them on because I want to protect my eyes. .commie, you're right. I don't know what I would do without you, .commie. I thought of you right as I thought of that. Like I need to do the right thing here. I need to be safe and put these on, or I'm going to end up getting some in my eye, and that's not good for anybody. I appreciate you watching out for me, .commie. All right, black wire. Now let's do power. Power is the second. All right, snip above this. Use these solid core wires. All right, so this one is, I said it already, I'm going to say it again, the second one from the bottom. Oh, I didn't get anything off of that. Shameful. Hey, Deadpixel, how you doing? What kind of MCU? This is a particle argon. ARM Cortex-M4 that runs a Nordic NRF 52840 if you're into such things. Mesh network capable through OpenThread. So I'm actually working on a project right now. Put it back in chat. And Grogard, I can't see without my glasses, so I guess I already have the coating goggles on. Yes. Well, Grogard, I wear contacts, so I'm right there with you. Deadpixel, don't those come with onboard Wi-Fi or 3G? Yeah, the different variants. So the Argon is a Wi-Fi, so there's built-in Wi-Fi, and then the Boron actually has either LTE or 3G, depending on the board that you get. Oh man, these. I don't trust this. All right, changing my approach on the red wires because I just gotta move to a different kind. It just like broke off on me right as I was trying to put it in. So no thanks. But yeah, Dead Pixel, thanks for the question. Thanks for coming in and saying hi. Glad to have you here. How's your week going so far? So, all right. So for this one, yeah, start there. Second from the bottom. Yeah. Yeah, I've been short because of the holiday, yeah. Same. Although I still feel like I've got about 7 days worth of stuff to do in 3 days. So I'm gonna be working more after I'm done streaming tonight. But that's okay. That ain't no thing. It's fine. Alright, let's get this one. Alright, now let's go over to positive on the far side. I think that's the way to do it. So let's see, where should we go? That'll work. These look so nice so far. It's only because y'all are watching. I would already go on like my third promo board, Perma Proto board, if y'all weren't here hanging out. Two down, and a few to go. Okay. What time is it? 4:42. All right. I want to make sure I take a bio break at the top of every hour. My back is going to be killing me. I am not a young man anymore. So the next thing that I want to do here, let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So I have a cable here. This is one of the male to female jumper cable that allows me to go from the board into one of the Argon or into the Raspberry Pi style like post male connectors on the top. So I'm gonna keep that, but this is gonna go into the negative. This is the ground, the shared ground wire. So let's snip that off and strip it. Jumper wires are not the greatest, not the most solid, but if I don't jostle much, that should be okay. All right. So TX and RX now for the coral. Let's start with RX, which is the 1, 2, 3 from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, right? three. Three from the bottom. Okay. Do this one from the bottom as well. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. Alright, so we got that one. The next one is that's our TX, and then RX. Oh, no, that's the TX one. That was our RX. Oh, let's see if I can't see it. Doesn't matter. That's the other one. Hey, Pump Chain, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Hey, .Commie, thank you so much for the resub for 4 months. That is awesome. You have been here almost from the beginning, hanging out, and I do appreciate you. Very, very cool. And yeah, thank you, Punk Chain, for the follow as well. Crazy to think I've been doing this for over 4 months. This has been a lot of fun. We've gotten a few things done together. We built mesh networked RC cars. We built a home brewing rig. We built a chat bot that controls the LED lights on my wall, or the LED Neopixel strips on my wall. Now we're building this crazy machine learning contraption. It's been fun. I've had fun. Hopefully y'all have had a little bit of fun too. Okay. Now I'm looking and see what else I got. What else is connected to power? All right. So what I'm basically, oh, I did that one on the top. Oh no, that's on the top. That's on the bottom. Okay. So lots of fun. Thanks, .com. I appreciate that. So these three wires will basically go into these are the connections between my Argon and the Google Coral board. And .com, before I forget, let me make a note. I need to make a note in the thanks section of my stream notes. Oh, that's all right, .com. I didn't even notice. But now that I have, I'm totally judging you. Surly Dev, I like the fact that you're building the machine, not just coding for it. I'm toying the idea of building a Raspberry Pi powered device that watches from above my front door and tweets each time I have a visitor with a picture of the visitor. That's cool. I like that, Surly Dev, and thank you. This is part of the challenge that I enjoy. Like, I love the writing code piece, but actually jumping in and trying to make a thing work and to create some interaction. I've learned a ton in this process, like I mentioned, especially around the machine learning side of things and machine learning on embedded devices, which is kind of neat. But I love the idea of doing a Pi-powered device that It does the picture. You have a Pi and a camera module, and you got everything you need. All right, and y'all forgive me if I'm being kind of slow here, but here, you know what? I don't need these. I've soldered those wires, so let me just start to remove things one at a time. So the remaining wires on here are basically everything else on here is what's powering both the LEDs and the buttons that are connected to these arcade buttons. So there's actually these are switches as well, and those are on the side. So these two wires control the LED, and these two wires are for the button on each of these. So that's the piece that I need to move over now, and I want to make sure that I do this correctly. One wire at a time. Oh, Surly Debbie, you should totally stream it. That would be awesome. I would watch that. To Dead Pixel's point, you could use an API like Twilio, call and play a robot voice or text you too. That's awesome. I love that idea. .com, that's very kind. I do need to get back into doing something with CAD where we actually create a board. So here's what I'll do. I'll tell y'all, I will make this promise to .com, to you, and everybody else right now. I'm working on this right now for demos at the NDC Oslo conference, which is in less than 3 weeks. Assuming that I pull this off and the demo goes well at NDC, what I will do after NDC, because I'll take this again to that conference in Wisconsin in August, and then a conference in the Dominican Republic in October, and maybe back to Europe in November. I will build a custom PCB for this, and we'll do it on stream. How about that? We agree to do that. So if I won't be able to do it here for this in the next 3 weeks, but we will revisit this after, and we'll build a custom PCB then. Yeah, definitely do it, Surly Devs. Michael Jolly said. Michael Jolly will come in and troll you, absolutely, but in love, which is the fun part about it. Dead Pixel, the conference is that conference. THAT. So if you go to thatconference.com, it's in August. That's the one I'll be at. And Babin, it is lots of traveling. It is. I'm actually traveling less this year than I did last year, but it's still a good bit. And I have used both Eagle and KiCad or KiCad, but I primarily am more comfortable in Eagle. That's what I've spent more time with lately, and I haven't used KiCad since the updates that they made. That's right, Michael Jolly doesn't troll, he teases in love. That's right. All right. So I think what I want to do first is actually, let me think through this. I don't want to mess this up. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to replicate. No, that's not going to work. Hold on. No, thanks, .com. That's it. That's the one, thatconference.com. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's a fun conference, Dead Pixel. I've actually been several times. I've taken the family a few times. Not taking the family this year, but it's a good time for sure. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. Let's get these cables on D5 and D3 that represent the LED pieces. Start one of those, and then we're gonna take a little bit of a bio break. And I will start with brand new connectors here. These connectors that I got from Adafruit. I can't can't help it, my toe. Alright, so I have two of these blue ones, and these are going to connect. These are for the button, and they're going to connect to digital 3 and digital 5 on the board. Certainly do. All in love, all in love. Yeah, dead pixels. So what is this Google board? Some sort of FPGA type thing for machine learning. It is not an FPGA. It actually is a single board computer. And what it has inside of it is what Google refers to as a TPU, or tensor processing unit, tensor flow processing unit, that will actually perform machine learning inference on the device. So it's basically an ASIC. It's a custom integrated circuit that they created, and they run those actually in their cloud environment, and with the Google Coral they're actually now available on the board as well. So this is actually what the board looks like, and the module, the TPU ASIC, is actually underneath here, underneath this giant heatsink and fan. So that's what enables this thing to do inference much faster than a regular single board computer does. And yeah, there's the link from .com. Thanks, sir. All right, so 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 4 and 6. This one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah! 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead and put the other one in. We'll solder them both at the same time. You ever get one of those moments where you're soldering something and you're like, wait a minute, I hope I didn't mess that up. I checked, I double checked. Should I have triple checked? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, fine. I think I did it right. Seems right. Alright. Pixel, does it run any standard architecture of OS that's specifically for the board? So it runs, hold on. Give me a sec. It runs Debian Linux, but it runs sort of Google's distro. I mean, they've created their own modifications to it, but it runs Debian. Mendel is what they refer to it as. That's right, .com. But it's a Debian Linux distro. BS Clara, do you ever feel like a plastic bag? I don't know. I don't know that I understand the question. It's pretty cool, Dead Pixel. I like it. Alright, we got those two done. So what I want to do now, and now I also have two of these white ones that are connected. Oh, drifting through the wind. Oh. Oh, B.S. Claro, is that an American Beauty reference? Because it totally went past me. But I hear you. Drifting through the wind. I do feel that way sometimes, yes. Admittedly. Alright, these two white. Okay, so those are my last two ground wires. So let's do those real quick. Wanting to start again. Scaring a driver's vision, causing mass traffic accidents. Okay. So I'm going to get these two white cables in here at the same time. We'll solder them both. And then, quick bio break. Quick bio break. We're making progress though. I feel pretty good about this. But I'm trying to go slow so that I don't regret it later. Solder something in that I shouldn't have in the wrong place, etc. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. So you guys totally lost me if you're throwing around Katy Perry lyrics. I got nothing. Guys, Katy Perry. Throwing Katy Perry lyrics at me. I am a firework. And I'm a firework that's going to take a 2-minute bio break. I'm going to get some water. Y'all hang out. Stay here. I'll be right back. Right back. 2 minutes. B.S. Claro, I have seen that movie and it's actually pretty funny. That was a funny one. Katy Perry is a national treasure. All right, she is. That's fine. And yes, I had to switch the camera. I had to switch the video back on so that I could stare. Well, B.S. Clara, I do remember now, but when you were quoting me like individual lyrics out of context, I got nothing. Oh, that's good stuff. Speaking of movies like that are irreverent and friggin' hilarious and infinitely rewatchable, one of the most underrated movies of all time that fits in that category is This Is the End, with James Franco, Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, Danny McBride. Please, some of y'all, tell me some of y'all have seen that movie. I watch that movie probably 2 or 3 times a year. I have good friends that I used to work with that we will watch that movie around the same time and then send each other animated GIFs of scenes from the movie. It's not all above board, but hey, it's fun. Oh, Dead Pixel. Dead Pixel. Let's go to the browsers. Here, let's just go to the IMDb page. 2013, it was already like 6 years ago. This movie, Dead Pixel. That there motion picture. Hilarious. Hilarious. All right, let's get back to the soldering. I think we should probably do that. Before I spend the next 2 hours talking about movies. Okay, where were we? Where we are at this point, excuse me, is Brandon keeps on jostling the camera. Oh, Dead Pixel, Tropic Thunder. Yeah. Tropic Thunder is another good one. I might have to watch that one soon. It's been a while. Best Tom Cruise cameo ever in a movie, Tropic Thunder. Probably the only movie where I actually really enjoy Tom Cruise as an actor. Okay. Where does this one go? Right there. So good. You're right. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do so that I can simplify my life and try to I don't know if I'm gonna regret this or not. It's getting to this point in the process where I'm trying to think of the right way to start disconnecting things without forgetting where everything is supposed to go here. So that when I invariably mess up, I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to take some pictures of all this. So y'all bear with me a second. Because I'm going to have to remind myself where everything was connected when I do this wrong. Which one is the key grip? Okay, go punch that man as hard as you can. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry, B.S. Carl. I don't even think I realize I'm doing that. I don't want to be that guy that refers to himself in the third person. So I'm gonna stop. I don't want to be that guy. All right, I'm taking these out. Which one was this in? D3. So let's connect. Let's start connecting these folks. Bit by bit. Okay, we got one there. now we have our lights like sort of halfway connected between two boards. But there you go, Dead Pixel. I like it. It suits you. Stick with the third person. Okay, so the other thing here on my boost converters is that these are actually wired. There's an enable pin on these that is wired up to a digital pin on the board, which is how I turn them off and on. They're always connected to a power, mainly to the power rail. The reason why they're connected to the power rail is so that they can always draw the full power from the Argon and then output 12 volts for the LED. But you use the enable pin to basically digitally turn them off and on. So I have two red wires here that are connected to D4 and D2 that I'm going to bring over and just solder in. Alright, so D4. And D2. Go for some second person potential perspective. Yes, one could do that if one wanted to. Dead Pixel. If one were so inclined, one might consider such a thing. Get these two in. Okay. Yes. Yeah, this isn't getting messy at all. This is fine. This is fine. All right. So there's just 4 wires left. And these wires are actually, these wires are wired into the power rail. So I need 2 red wires from the power rail. And then 2 ground wires. I think that's it. Yeah, and then 2 more ground wires. And these will ultimately go into the power and ground for the boost converters. Here to entertain, B.S. Claro, if nothing else. Here to entertain. Alright. So I'm going to get soldering a few more reds here. Frackberg! How are you doing, sir? Happy Tuesday to you. I know it's a little bit late your time. Hopefully you're doing well. What you been up to? Doing a little bit of soldering tonight. Soldering and assembly. All in good fun. Recovering from the weekend. Well, I hope that means it was a good one. And I hope it means you're recovering in like, hey, you had fun, maybe a little bit too much fun kind of way. As opposed to recovering because you were working too hard all weekend, trying to get other stuff done. Drunk me may have made some bad decisions that sober me has to pay for. That's what holidays are all about. I hear you though, man. I hear you. Oh, did I get that on that? Oh, whatever. We are turning one mess of wires into another mess of wires, Frackford. Right now, I am sober me, but I will tell you, I am a few hours away from an adult beverage. I'm looking forward to .com. What is the solution to that? .com? I want to know. All right. Let's solder these two down. Try not to make too much of a mess. Oh, these things are great, Frackwork. I love these perma-proto boards. They're easy to work with. They're foolproof. And I can say that because I'm a fool. They work really well. Okay. Oh my gosh. Because every time I turn this back over, I think like, oh my god, what have I done? This will look so nice when it's mounted in the box, really, I promise. Definitely causes a view of them. Another Homer Simpson reference that reminds me of. Like an early one where he says to Marge, every time I learn something new, it pushes something else out of my brain. Like that time that I took that home winemaking course and I forgot how to drive. And Marge says, that's because you were drunk. And Homer says, and how? Is it safe to extend my router power cable a few feet? Yeah, it totally would be, Viasclar. I mean, a few feet, what do you mean by just getting an extension cord? Yeah, you're probably fine. According to science, it is a solution for something. There's truth to that. Okay. So I need to go get, oh. You mean cutting it and extending it? Oh yeah, are my audio levels okay? You guys tell me if you can't hear me. I got you, Viasclar. That way I don't have to look for one online with a longer cord that meets the voltage and amp spec. Yeah, Viasclar, I mean, you're sort of like taking your life in your own hands. Not really. I mean, you're probably fine, but as Frackberg said, you're probably okay. But it never feels like the best idea ever, you know? Okay, so now we need 2 more ground wires. Yeah, for both sides of this. So let me Yeah, so Frackberg, unfortunately, well here. See if that helps a tiny bit. Try to move the mic a little bit closer. Does that help a bit? On the boom arm that my mic is on, I can't reach it totally over. I feel like I should probably move it to the other side of my desk. Ah, .com, I'm so close. But no worries, man, no worries. Thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate it. We're relatively close to firing this up. Just need to wire in a few ground wires. Wire. Just say wire over and over again. And then we'll be good to go. But thanks for coming and hanging out. I will see you next time. Hope you have a good rest of the week. Surly Deb, I'm distracted looking at my Twitch dashboard trying to think of a title for your upcoming stream. Oh, titles. Ah, no worries. Babin, sound clear? Okay, good. Thank you, Fragberg, for bringing that up. Fragberg, if you use the hash or the exclamation bang project, it'll tell you what I'm working on. But I'm still working on the emotion mesh project, so I'm actually wiring up the Argon controller board that connects to the Google Coral. Do the thing is a safe bet. That's right. That's right, Frankfurt. Couple of wires here. There you go. Don't bring logic this subscriber should know into this conversation. I'm so sorry, Frankfurt. Yeah, one of my goals for today was actually to get this moved over from the breadboard onto this Perma Proto board and then to mount it into the button box here, which might be a fun project in and of itself. So we are just about done. These are basically my last two wires to solder. And I know this is a bit of a tangled mess, but hey, that's part of the fun, right? Oh yeah, Fragberg, he's good to have. I recommend solid core if you can get it. For that kind of stuff. But I use solid core and stranded, it works great. But yeah, to have multiple different red, black, a few other color options as well, works well. Okay. So here we go. Ah, dang it. Oh, that's alright. I'm disconnecting this. Alright, so here's what I want to do real quick. I'm going to try to get everything else out of the way. So my red wires, black wires, these are going to connect up here. These are all going to connect to the coral. These three here will connect to the coral. So now it's just, I've got a little bit of a, kind of stepping on each other kind of thing here. Actually, I don't think it matters. No, I'm moving on. There we go. So now the last piece here is going to be just to connect my ground wires and power wires correctly into the boost converter. No, Frankberg, I like stranded as well. I use both. For this black wire, I have a bunch of, for the black and red wire, I have a bunch of just solid core that I've already had that works well. Just depends on what you get. And yeah, if I have stranded and I need to get the end to be, you know, I'll just twist it up and then put some solder on it. And I get a little solid piece at the end. Whoa, are you, Fragger, your arm is in a sling? Okay, so does this have something to do with the ill-advised decisions from this weekend? Inquiring minds want to know. Yes, okay. There's a story there. Oh, okay. I didn't strip this other side. All right, y'all. So, assuming that I did all this correctly, this should work. Solid versus stranded has a lot to do with application. For anything that's going to get moved a lot, stranded is a better idea. For stuff in a box that's never likely to be seen after the box is closed, great application solved. Yeah, for sure. You're absolutely right. How you're going to use it makes a big difference in how you, what you decide to go with. So, I'm going to plug this back in. I'm going to reconnect this to my Coral. But really quick, I need to look up the docs on this. So let's go back to the Coral docs. I'll move my mic back out of the way. TX, RX. Ground is 6. So 6, 8, and 10. Pin 1 being at the top. Right. Okay. So we have the ground wire. Let's go that one first. So 2, 4, 6. Okay. My white wire is on RX. So that'll be TX on the Coral, which is 8. TX is RX on the Coral. It's 10. Okay. Shall we fire this thing up and see what happens? Power to the lights. This should start blinking back and forth. So far, so good, everybody. Okay. All right, so that was the first test. That was an important test, but that was the first one. All right, let me look at this, Frackberg. As far as the arm, drunk me thought it would be fun to jump off a moving golf cart, which aggravated a shoulder injury 14-year-old me acquired when he thought it would be fun to climb a tree with a motorcycle. I have a lot of talents, but finding new and exciting ways to injure myself is one of them. I applaud you, Frackberg. That's creative. And I have been there, my friend. I have definitely been there. All right. I'm sorry, Frackberg. I'm not laughing at your misfortune. Sorry to hear that. It's tough. It's tough, man. Okay. I actually need to SSH into the board to make sure that it is ready for me. Good. I would hope that you would laugh at me as well, because I would surely do the same thing. Log on to this thing. So we've tested the lights coming on. That's good. The next thing I want to do is make sure that the UART serial communication is actually happening between the devices. We'll run a test with the webcam, get the streaming server up, all that good stuff. So let's log in real quick. All right, we are logged in. We are good to go. I need to check my notes real quick because I have some things I need to remember to do. Got to mount this. Oh, I know only root can do that. Okay, good. That's working. And then turn this part off. Oh, wait, I got to do that as... Oh, golly. Don't mind me fumbling about. Okay. I come from a family. Oh, you didn't get. Oh, I guess that is good. You didn't get it recorded. Surly Dev asked a good question. I don't know, maybe that's not, maybe you should try to record and post such things, right? Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to run the streaming server. So that's going to be Python detect server. Yeah, that should be it. So let me run the streaming server here real quick, and we're going to pull it open. Let's see, what is it? On 1 and 2. See where the webcam is oriented. Hello, it's me. It's me in a different window. Okay, that's ready to go. Streaming server is up. Let's turn on the serial connection. And this was serial. There we go, serial.py. All right, if y'all want to see the full demo, let me do this here. I'm gonna make sure y'all get a chance to see the whole thing as it comes across, because it's actually kind of cool when it works. So I'm anticipating this just gonna work. What's happening on the streaming server, it's on the web page itself, doesn't really matter. Surly Dev, it said oriented, not orientated. I appreciate that. Orientated's not a word. I appreciate that, Surly Devin. I'm glad to hear you're going to be coming back. All right. So, assuming that this works, I'm going to trigger capture mode on my Argon, which what that should do is it should just turn the green LED on. Perfect. So I'm getting a state message. My state machine is entering capture mode, so I'm ready to go. Serial is waiting for it. I am going to click this button by just clicking on the side here. Click, capturing frame. Yeah, buddy, look at all that. Look at that stuff streaming across it. That thing's working. Yes. So that's good. So now what state am I in? So now the state that I'm in is I'm entering waiting state. So at this point, my device is it's asking me to say, oh wait, did I click it already? Hold on. Sending response, closing socket, processing, moving images, cleanup complete. And then I can click again to say, yes, that was right. No, that wasn't right. Why is that piece not working? Frack rig is orientated like Canada. Hey, the Michael Jolly, I don't think it's a good thing. Oh, Surly, that's funny. Hey, no worries, Michael Jolly. Lurking while you work is good. There's the Seven Dwarfs sang a song about that, right? Lurking while you work. Yeah, something like that. Not Canada, Canada. Y'all are funny. All right, so if you look in the docs, in the console, I guess you can't see it because my giant noggin is in the way. We got a serial message. The capture command came across on the socket. We captured a frame, saved it off as this image, this PNG file, and the model ran and it detected 99% neutral, 0% surprise. Let's run that again and see if I can I'll make a different face. So trigger capture. So I'm in capture mode, and now I'm gonna see where I am in the streaming server. Okay, let's make a different face. All right, what did it think that was? 97% anger, about 1/4% disgust, and then a little bit of surprise. Tiny, tiny little bit of surprise. That's what's going on there. There you go, Grow Guard. Keep on working on those docs. Absolutely, man. Say Canada like you would say Canadian. Just leave the N off the N. That's funny. Canada. Yeah. I'm sure that Canadians appreciate that. All right, so the only thing that I have noticed that's an issue with my state machine, but it's not actually waiting. It seems like it actually skips a state. Oh, now it's in response state. Oh, cool, so it did it right this time. So now you'll notice that both the lights are on because it's waiting for me to tell it yes or no. So I'm gonna say like, no, that didn't get the right emotion. And I go back into idle state, and you'll notice that I got another message saying that inference was wrong. So everything is working. Hey y'all, right here, live on stream, we moved from a breadboard to a perma proto board. And look, I'm back in idle state now. The lights are going back and forth. So this perma proto board did its job. I soldered everything up. I didn't mess anything up. I didn't break anything. It's like first time ever, y'all. You're here to see it. I'm pretty excited. And I think that's a good, it's been short, but we're gonna take one more bio break. I'm gonna take it, but you can do whatever you want. Stretch, what have you. I'm gonna take a quick 2-minute bio break, and then when I come back, hey, Girl Guard, something worked on stream. It always works eventually, even though sometimes it's off stream. Yes, I'll give you that. Y'all keep on hanging out. Give me 2 minutes, and when I come back, let's actually mount this, all of this, including the coral, in the button box, wire everything up, and hopefully before 7 p.m., so like in an hour and 20 minutes when I gotta be done, We'll get the box assembled and powered up, and we'll be good to go. So let's do that. 2 minutes, BRB. Oh, Frankberg, I don't know when you sent that, but hey, if you're still around, thanks for hanging out. Have a good dinner. Otherwise, yeah, let's get this thing mounted. So let me go back into the big camera. And we're gonna power down. Oh man. Let's keep on jostling the camera. So remove power from the argon. I'm gonna unplug everything from the coral as well. Oh, let me move my mic back up here. All right, well, in a perfect world, this part should be relatively straightforward, right? This is the opening in my box here. I'm gonna make sure that it's visible to all y'all. This is gonna be kind of fun for me to work on and still provide you all with a view of it, but I'm gonna do my best. And so I got a whole bunch of standoffs here. We're gonna see what fits, see what we can work with. What is this song? Nice box of standoffs there. Let's see. These look kind of nice. And then I have another box. I need to go get some machine screws. Oh wait, I have some here. Let's see what I have. It just occurred to me that I may not have the right kind of screws, which would stink. I think, however, I can manage, or try at least, with these short standoffs. So I'm going to need 2 for the argon and 4 for the coral. All right. Let's mount the coral first. I'm going to move it, I'm going to do it over here. Actually, that way. I'm just going to do it like that. Yeah, it'll work. Well put. A little bit wider. All right. The black ones I got won't work. I have to use these white standoffs. It looks like they will. That's not enough room. Well, nerds. I think that these screws that I have are too short. Which means I don't have the hardware to do this here on screen. Which stinks. However, what I can do is go ahead and power up the buttons, and we can look at that part real quick. So let's do that instead. Let's power up these buttons. I'm going to reconnect core here, 2, 4, 6. Make sure I get the I/O part right. 8 is TX, so RX from the Argon. Right, and then 10. Just plugging it all back in. So I'm going to have to, not that I ever mind doing this, but make a run to the hardware store to get some different components. That's fine. That's fine. What I want to do real quick before I plug these in is figure out which one is my green light. So what it should do when I trigger capture mode is, okay, that's my green. Oh, this is my green. Okay. Oh, no way. It's flashing back and forth. Let me trigger. All right, so I'm in capture mode, so this is my green light. Cool. So let's actually just hook this thing up. Why not, right? Lay everything fed in here. Fun part about electronics work they never tell you about, right? All right. Literally. Thankfully the wire did not snap. So, getting kind of freaked out right now. This is why I wanted to mount this first, but it's okay. The important thing is the buttons are wired up. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'm gonna hit the lights and then we're gonna run these demos again. Hey, that's a little bit better. Red light, green light. That's right, BS Carl. Okay, so if I restart this, if I restart my Argon, you'll see both lights are on. And then once it comes online, they'll start blinking back and forth. Red, green. Red, green. Thank you, Grogard. All right, so with that, good. And this affects this light. Now that I turn this light off, it messes with my green screen a bit, but that's okay. So what I want to do now is actually log back in to the device, into the Coral, excuse me. Streaming server running again. Where did I go? I'm right here. All right, let's get this running again. Get the serial monitor running. Okay, so this is the idle mode, right? Box is slowly blinking back and forth, and it's gonna say, hey, make me capture something, right? And this is where I haven't wired this up yet, but there will be a where I will get the I'll have an ultrasonic distance sensor that will trigger this demo, right? Right now I'm doing it manually. We trigger capture mode, which means the green LED is on, or the green light is on. You'll basically make a face like, ah! Here, hold on, let me get this back up. Make a face. I hit the button, did it, and I hit it incorrectly. Hit the button. Hold on. So I forgot to do this thing. This thing. Because I restarted it. I need to add that to startup. And mount. I need to add that to startup as well. Now let's try again. Am I still in? No, I need to. How do I get back in capture mode? Okay, I'm back in capture mode. Waiting for a message. You could just do disable instead of stop to keep it off. Is that right, Grogard? So even it'll survive across reboots? Really, really? Because if you can send me a link or something on that, you'll be my Linux hero for the day. Or for all time for that matter. You would just be my Linux hero. That would be great. Just type disable instead of stop. All right. Oh, sudo systemctl disable. I gotcha. Thank you, Grogard. I appreciate you. Okay. All right, we're in capture mode. Let's go back to my streaming server. Surprise. Wait, so you can see it. Hit the button. Frame captured. Happiness, 83%. A little bit of surprise, yeah, I'll admit that. I didn't do the mode switching properly, so I might have a state management issue. My Argon may not have gotten the message. So we can debug that. That'll probably be something to debug here in the last hour. of the stream. But this is my demo for now. What happens? Nothing's happening there. Let me go back into capture mode. Try this one more time. If you need it back on, just type enable. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you once again, Grogard. You're awesome. Okay. So I'm back in capture mode. Okay, so now I'm in response mode. Cool, so that actually works. Seems like it's working like every other time. So now I'm in response mode, and you'll see both of the lights are on. So I'm gonna say yes or no whether the emotion was correct. This time it got me 100% is happiness. Perfect, that's correct. Great, I said it was right. Now we're back into idle mode. Cool. Well, I feel pretty good about that. That was actually on my list for today. Solder the argon to the perma proto board. I'm gonna mark that one as done. Maybe the only thing that we've gotten done today, but we still got it done, right? Cool. And now we're back into idle mode. So it's just sort of blinking back and forth. So let me add an item here for that, because it seems like, let's see. Argon doesn't always seem to get what is it? Serial messages to transition from waiting. Surly Dev, oh no, we also established the correct pronunciation of Adafruit. Adafruit. And oriented. And also Canadia. You're right, Surly Dev. We got a whole lot done on this stream. We did. I'm going to keep on going for a little bit longer, though. My plan was to just go ahead and go to 7 p.m. Central for another hour. I may not go that entire time, because I was going to mount the stuff, and I don't have the hardware. But that's okay. Oh, there's always more than you think at first, for sure. But I'm going to try to fix this bug. So let's see if maybe I can actually get this bug going. Like when filling out my timesheets for work, right? It's pretty fun. Serial messages to transition from waiting to response mode. So convert this one to an issue. I'm gonna open that up. Assign it to me. It's a bug, and we think it's either in the controller firmware or the Coral firmware. So let's go take a look. Let's take a look at that one right now. I feel like relogging in everywhere. I don't want to be. All right, so here's what's happening. I showed this off at the beginning. This is on the Coral dev board side. So this is a Python script that's actually running on the dev board side. This is not. This is the code that's actually running on the Argon. So this is C++ code that's running, all that good stuff for the controller itself. The state machine that's on here manages moving from idle mode, which is what it's doing now. According to the board, you don't like the Coral. I do like it. Oh, sorry, BS Claro. I've had a long day. I've had a long day, man. I'm ready for my adult beverages. That's what I'm. I got you. I got you. So basically, as it moves into state, as it's in an individual state, there's three things that happen in this. Ah, you're sipping on one. What do you? All right, what do you got? Share with me what you got, BS Claro. Let's share it with me. Tell me what it is. In any state with this finite state machine, there's a configuration method that runs once. There's an exit method as it moves from one to the next. Wild basin, melon, basil. Oh, man. That sounds good. And then you have an update state that runs just continuously. Basically, as your loop gets called, it's just doing this every single time. So right now, in idle state, it's doing what it's doing now. Basically, it's just toggling back and forth between red and green. Oh, it's an Oscar Blues one? Is it one that the Oscar Blues here in Austin or in no wait. Where'd they open up their other brewery? I used to live in Colorado. I love Oscar Blues. But they opened up another brewery. Was it here in Texas? Or am I thinking it was somewhere else? Like another location. Yeah. Oscar Blues is good stuff. I have in the fridge waiting for me another Colorado beer, Avery Maharaja, double IPA. It'll melt your face off, and I think that's what I'm going for later. Oh, 2 miles north of you, awesome. I haven't been to that location yet. I need to get out there and check it out. That'd be really cool. I was just a couple of weeks ago, they opened up a Pine House Pizza up here near me, up in north, like in the Round Rock area, and I got some electric jellyfish, which is another one of my favorite beers. And here we are, BS Cloud. We're just talking about Austin, Colorado beers on the stream. All right, so update idle just toggles the lights. And then when you're in capture mode, it's just waiting for you to hit one of two buttons. The green button, right here, I'll show you. When I move into capture mode, which is where I'm now, the green button is on. So this sets the state to capture, and then it writes the green LED to high. BS Calaro. Oh, they have a really good barbecue truck. Nice. That's awesome. Manowar is a really good one from Pine House, definitely. They just had a beer release for like a triple IPA a couple of weeks ago, and I missed it. Well, they went pretty quick. But I can't mess around with triple. Whew. That's like a one and done kind of beer. Via 311 has gluten-free crust? Really? I know everybody does now, but triples are fun if you want to be day drunk. That's right. Yep, been there. Been there for sure. I'm gonna have to go check that out. So I do mostly gluten-free. My wife has to. She has celiac. And we're always squirrely about pizza places because cross-contamination and all that. But I love a place that's got a really good gluten-free crust. All right, so then when you're in update mode, it's basically waiting for you to click on one of these. The green will do capture, and red transitions back into idle. So if I click this, it will actually turn the light on, and it'll switch back to idle mode. So it's just the button is just checking to see which button has been tapped. And then here's where we are in waiting mode. This is where we got stuck before. Waiting mode basically reads the serial connection between the coral and the argon. Move these over here a little bit. It reads the serial connection to see, basically to get a notification back that the image has been captured. And then it transitions back into response mode. And that's all pretty straightforward, so I think the issue may actually be on the Coral side. Chicken Dude, hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Happy Tuesday. Do you know how to fix the 100% disk space glitch on Windows 10? I do not. I do have a Windows 10 computer, but my primary machine is a Mac. So I apologize, I don't know how to troubleshoot Windows 10 issues. I didn't even know that was a glitch. That kind of stinks. Sorry to hear you're dealing with that. All right. And then this is what's actually happening on the Coral board. I get a message from the Argon that says enter capture mode, and it calls my capture image function. Chicken Dude, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that, even though I couldn't answer your question. I'm sorry. I do appreciate that you followed anyway. It's very kind of you. All right. So I don't know why this wouldn't work. So all that's happening on this side is I basically create a connection to the socket server that's on the board, which is what then captures the image. And all that stuff is working. This is the piece that seems to not be working. And is it because maybe I should close the socket and then write the serial message out. Maybe I don't need a flush. So what I'm getting is that if I go back into entering capture mode, I should see a few things happen here. So I'm back into capture mode. I want to capture a photo from the streaming server. And now it's in response mode. So it's waiting for me to say yes or no. Okay, I say no. Now we're back in idle state. If I go back into capture mode, and it looks like it worked, happiness 1. I'm back in capture mode, and I say, take another photo. Now I'm back in response mode. And I can say no. Oh, maybe it's not a bug. Unless it's a bug that only happens, so what did I just do that? Like 3 times? Let me do it again. So I'm in capture mode, take a photo. And it seems to work. 94% neutral this time. All right. Maybe it only works after a reset, right? So maybe I have to like reset the device. So wait for my Argon to come back online. I'm in idle state. Call trigger capture. I'm in capture state. So let's capture a photo. That worked. Now it's in response state again. All right, well maybe that's not really a bug. Maybe there is nothing wrong. That ticks me off when I mean, I don't know if y'all saw, it happened like twice. There's no bug. My code is working. My code is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to take this and I'm going to troll the dude that filed it, which is me. I'm going to talk smack to myself because that's the only way that I can. Can't repro. Try again, fool. There. Close and comment. All right, nothing. All right. I mean, cool. I love it when stuff works. I don't like it when I can't figure out why it works. Oh, Grogard, yeah. Reboot the Coral and see if that works. You think maybe that's the issue? Could it be a serial issue on the Coral side? Is that what you're saying? Because I did only restart the Argon. It's possible. Here. All right. Let me restart the Coral too. Oh, double test. Yes, test the disable. Yes, thank you. You're right. Let's test the disable. Why not? We got time. We're just hanging out. Oh, crap. Come on. Y'all bear with me. It's getting late. All right. I do need to remount. I got it. It's on my list. I got to figure to deal with. Just got to remount the disk. It's gonna alert the admin on 3 tries. Yeah, I know. Well, I had keys set up for this, and then I messed it up. So I gotta go back and do that again. Anyway. All right, let's run the streaming server again. Serial. Let's see. Let's get ourselves back into capture mode. And oh, it didn't work, Rogard. Disable didn't work. Did I not do it sudo? Maybe I didn't do it sudo. Now let's try running it. Well, let's try again. Maybe I accidentally didn't run it correctly. Okay. No. Well, here, let's look that up then. So, because it should be system CTL, serial Gitty. Oh, but you're right, Grogar. It should be system CTL disable. All right. mxc0.service says it's disabled. Oh, disabled for the next reboot, but not running now? Let's try. I'm going to restart. We'll get this figured out. But I don't know why it didn't work on the reboot then. Gorgard, that's the weird thing to me. Yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to do a status check now. So then, status. Yeah. That's what I want to run. Oh, it's active and running. So it's disabled, but it's not. It's disabled on setup, but it's running. So I wonder if Google has, if there's another script in here that actually enables it automatically every time. Which I would need to go figure out. But for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop it. Inactive. Yeah, I'm gonna have to mine through the startup script to figure out what it is, but for now, that's fine. We can run it. We can run that each time. All right. Well, I think we're at a pretty good stopping point, honestly. I got the next piece that I wanted to do is probably going to take a little while. Oh yeah, I was going to thank Michael. I was going to make sure I made a note of Michael Jolly, for the raid. Raid with 17 viewers. Amazing that I remember that. So I might be able to do this real quick. Let me show you what's actually happening here when you take a photo. Oh, I'm gonna log in like everywhere. I send a message to the WebSocket server that basically captures the photo. That's happening here, right here. All of that, I think I showed this last week, but this is what's basically capturing the frame, copying it to a few places, calls the cloud detector here, and then the next piece is actually to call the local detection script, which I shared that model up earlier. I have the script, the code for that. That's actually under emotion model /predict.py. So I would probably just do the same thing here. Perform local detection. Grogard, yeah, the other option, good question. The other option is actually to use UART3. Which I could absolutely do. It's not soldered in. UART3 is on, where is it? UART3 is on 11, 7 and 11. So 7, 9, and 11 are TX, ground, and RX. With UART3, there's a different thing that I need to do. Where is that? UART3 is not enabled by default in Mendel. And you have to basically upgrade the distribution in order to get it, which I didn't want to do that right away because I was worried about getting everything borked and lost. But it's probably worth doing because then I don't have to mess with that, remembering to reset that or to get it automated every time. So that's probably worth looking at. Let me make a note to do that. Consider moving the serial connection on the Coral to UART3. I mean, I want to update the distribution anyway. So I might as well. So my perform cloud detection function is, where is it? I think I actually have it. Oh yeah, in detect face. And that's in the cloud detector file, or yeah, the cloud detector project here. And this is what calls the Azure Cognitive Face API. So all of that happens right here. So what I want to do here, and I'm doing some hacky Python stuff, I'll admit, in order to get this to work. Yeah, I think this is going to be too much of a mess for me to start right now. Because basically what I want to do I want to move this predict script out of the emotion model because this is just a test script. That's all this is. But I need to move these label files and the right model that I'm using into the local detector, probably into its own module, and then pull that in. So I'm going to make a note to do that too. All right, so that's something else we'll do. So productive, like I said. I think it's just fun. I actually got my primary objective for today was just to get this thing wired up and properly mounted on the breadboard or on the Perma Proto board. I'm bummed that I didn't have the right screws to actually mount it in the box, but hey, that's on me. I will fix that. I will get that part working soon. And yeah, I think we're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I'm gonna go get myself some dinner. And I hope that y'all have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Thanks for joining me and hanging out for a little while. I will be back again next week. Actually, this Friday, I'll mention this. I will be streaming on the Particle Twitch channel. So might as well do a plug for this. So this Friday, Robert Tables is streaming. Let's go right into him. Perfect. I will be streaming, let's see myself. I will be streaming right here on Friday, Particle IoT. Oh, Michael Jolly, thanks so much for the bits. That's awesome. Surly Dev, yeah, you should go get some sleep. Y'all hang out for a second. We're going to go right over into Mr. Robert Tables. But I appreciate y'all hanging out and having some fun. Please do join me on Friday on the Particle Twitch channel. We're actually going to do a deep dive on the Particle Device OS, which should be good fun. Surly Dev, please do come back. Thanks so much for hanging out. It was good to hang out with you a bit. And Michael Jolly, thank you again for the bits and for the raid, for hanging out. Grogard, thank you. Babin, good to see you again. Anybody else I missed? Y'all have a great rest of the day. Let's go raid Mr. Robert Tables, and y'all take care. Bye.